Maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she likes greed and money too. Maybe she's fine.
Well, that's what I was trying to find out. Do you just think she's cute, or do you think she's actually an honest person for some
She's
reason?
voted Democrat.
Interesting. Is one question for today's show? JD Vance was an atheist.
That's what he claimed. That's what I read. Okay, you got to verify that though.
Hang on. We are putting all of this out here as information that we are not certain about. Yes, we are broadcasting. I'm going straight in. I'm not effing around with the broadcast anymore because I'll forget what we were looking up, which was Diet Mountain Dew and JD Vance. We heard some coverage of JD Vance telling a bad joke, but we don't know if it's an actual spin on a real joke or if he pulled it out of his Appalachian butt crack. I'm not sure which. He was trying to make Trumpers laugh, and the first-hand report I'm getting from Jersey Hardclay Johnson, today's studio guest. We won't show him because he's too famous here in Walla Walla, Washington. If we start showing him on the screen, he gets what would you say, molested by the adoring crowds. So Jersey Hardclay, HC for short. 80-year-old women are very drawn to Hardclay. Hey, he's got a raw sexuality that these women can appreciate. Diet Mountain Dew and JD Vance. What is the joke? Let's learn together, people. Which part made you spit? All right. America enters the racist soda phase of the campaign. So the Atlantic posted that 56 minutes ago. These are just headlines. I'm going to pick one and I'm going to read it to the audience because that's what they pay the big money for. I'm not even dressed yet, but these ideas, both Jersey, Hardclay, and myself agreed that we needed to take notes. And since we both have lazy aspects to our brains, I'm not taking notes. I know he's not taking notes. So we had to go live even before I was ready. Jersey is claiming, and I'm all for it, by the way, Jersey, just to clarify. And especially if you go back and then we'll highlight the things that we need to keep, right? We'll highlight the good shit. Oh, all right, Jerry, Jersey, we got to read this one. By the New Republic, JD Vance spends weird low-energy speech praising Mountain Dew. I wasn't necessarily going to do current events today, but now we kind of have to. So things have changed, people. Things have changed, and suddenly we're going to have our first female president who also happens to be black, to be a BIPOC, black indigenous person of color. Her mother's from India. Father is from Jamaica, we think. So that's good. It makes me very happy because I think it'll break that ceiling. I think as a psychologist, I think it's hard to measure the impact of young girls growing up seeing a female president, especially young girls of color. So I am all for it. Some of you will say that's DEI and you'll get mad. Can I get an amen? All right, I wasn't even trying to get an amen, but I like a good amen when I can get it. So we're going to click on the New Republic, people. Now, I want to call attention to all of you that get sucked into conspiracy theories. Before I click on any of these, what am I thinking in my conscious mind? What am I consciously aware of? Every source has this will be on the exam, every source has a bias. Yes, Jersey, DEI. First requirement.
There's plenty
That's true.
You have to be qualified for the job. So people aren't getting a job because they're not qualified. That's all.
That's a good point. Very good point. They're not getting the job. That's the myth, though, right? The myth they want to sell is all these unqualified people are getting the jobs. And, so here's the thing. That's a good, the DEI is one of the best examples. Don't just read one article. Don't just watch one TV show. Don't ever just take your information off of social media, including this show, including me. You don't know if I was really a psychologist for 30 years. You don't know if that's true or if I'm just saying it. It's actually true, but you don't know that necessarily. So don't believe everything you read, and try to read across the spectrum. I know it's hard. I know a lot of you watch Fox News only or CNN only. Go to the other side, look at what they're saying, judge for yourselves. Do keep in mind that Fox News had to pay one of the highest settlements in the history of liability settlements. They had to pay, I believe it was $780 million. Hard Clay, do you recall? Close to $800 million. It's a lot of millions. $800 million, almost $1 billion. Oh, that is Matt Skrill. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first use of Mad Skrill on today's program. That is Mad Skrill. They had to pay. Fox News paid so much money, and Rupert Murdoch pretty much just said, "Look, we did it. We have nothing that we can say to defend ourselves." He knew the case was lost because they lied about the election being stolen. So do keep in mind, one of the sources out there, Fox News, a very big source, got dinged for $780 million because of what they said about not Smartmatic. It was the other voting machine company. They basically lied about them. The Trump campaign, Dominion, thank you. Jersey's got his memory cap on today. So, more important, don't go to one source. Read it. Try to read some news instead of, I can tell you as a shrink, as a psychologist for 30 years, reading is a different experience than watching. Now, I'm going to steer away from CNN. That's a personal preference. I don't like CNN because they've several times now since the beginning of Trumpism, which your brother Seamus thinks is the most dangerous thing around. CNN has decided to consistently, and with much misguided self-righteousness, CNN has allowed Mr. Trump to have quote-unquote town halls where nobody asks him any hard questions. So they've been platforming fascism, in my opinion, because that's, that word kind of, that word kind of, I don't like fascism. Jersey, what do you think about that word? I think it's a sloppy word. I like self-governance versus a dictator. That's kind of authoritarian's okay because you get the idea. Does one man with a well-groomed beard, does he get to run everything? There you go. The conspiracy out in the open is that it's really a small group of wealthy people. Now they're going to say that about Democrats too. Right.
Smaller than our government. They're mad because they can't get their way.
Yeah.
Because actually having a big bureaucracy protects us more than it protects them, and they don't like that.
Yeah. They would like to destroy the bureaucracy so that they can, Mr. Trump, there's a lot to dislike about him, but one thing you can sort of like about him, even though he doesn't want you to, is that he does tell the truth accidentally a lot because he's so proud of it. And he's basically like, yeah, I cheat on my taxes because it's legal, I can get away with it, and I'm rich. That just means I'm smart. So if you're a new voter and you want the humble opinion of someone who's been a psychologist for 30 years, I would say Mr. Trump is tricking you on behalf of the rich people. And they get real mad when they try to do some rich guy bullshit. I think this is what Jersey's getting at. They try to do rich guy bullshit, and what happens is the bureaucracy gets in their way, because there are regulators who can say, no, you can't dump chloromethylethanol into Lake Michigan. You can't. You're going to kill all the fish. So you got to have some regulations. Nobody likes, let's be clear, even my liberal friends don't like a lot of regulations. People want only the ones that matter. Like, should you be able to park your car? We used to have this fight. I'm not even joking. In my neighborhood, there would be some neighbors that would put their car in the front yard and put it up on blocks. It didn't really cause any harm, except it just looked bad. It really looked bad. I was down there. I was a Missouri boy to begin with, but now I'm up in. No, this was it down in Missouri. Washington, they're pretty good about their laws up here. By the way, you can catch us on, I forgot to put the link on Facebook, but we're on Facebook and YouTube. This is the Brother Seamus Show. I'm your Brother Seamus. I'm joined today, not pictured here, Jersey Hard Clay Johnson. And we are trying to get to the bottom of JD Vance and Diet Mountain Dew. New Republic. So we're going to look at the New Republic. What do we think? They're liberalish? Is the New Republic? We don't even know. Let's read them. And yeah. And it's, I believe they're print journalism. I believe New Republic is print. All right. Donald Trump's vice presidential pick went off in a bizarre manner. Let's get that over there so they can see it. JD Vance spins weird low-energy speech praising Diet Mountain Dew. Donald Trump's vice presidential pick went off on a bizarre tangent about diet soda during a rally. Okay. JD Vance's weird anti-woke punchline fell flat at his own sleepy speaking event on Monday. That's pretty good. They nailed him twice in one sentence. It fell anti-woke, fell flat, weird. That's like 4 times. They ripped on him 4 times in one sentence. Okay. Vance held a rally at his former high school in Middletown, Ohio, where hundreds gathered to hear the views of Donald Trump's newly minted vice presidential candidate. But even as a hometown hero, the Ohio senator suffered some brutally awkward moments. It's the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're probably going to call that racist too. Oh, I get it now. It is just really a dumb. I was hoping there was a Mountain Dew conspiracy thing going, but let's see. Maybe we can start one. Let's try to start one if we can't. Around the room, there were some scattered laughs. It's good, he said after a beat, drawing more polite laughter from the rally attendees. So basically, he's trying to do his tight 5, and he's fucking it up. Vance let out his own breathy laugh at his comment, slapping the podium in front of him. I love you guys, he said. That was Jersey Hard Clay's favorite part. So, for those of you who are tuning in, Jersey Hard Clay he's thrown out an idea, and I think everybody should go to this page. This is the New Republic. Just Google JD Vance's weird, what do they call it? Weird low energy speech. Go watch the video. I'm gonna not watch the video right now because I don't want to give him any airtime on my show. But I like the way they're describing it. And Jersey, you said when he uttered the phrase "I love you guys," was it cringy because it was so fake? Is that what you're arguing?
It was cringy because it fell so flat. Because first of all, they didn't respond to the joke too much.
Right.
It was like a guy trying to suck up to a crowd he just disappointed. And I don't want to I'm not going to say anything more than that because I was going to add something else.
Okay, he's gonna Jersey's gonna stop short, which is good because we're not here. There are some jokes we tell behind the scenes. If you watch it, you'll understand it was so cringy, and he was sucking up. That was part of it too. He's trying to suck up to a crowd that was politely laughing at him. Is what it.
It made me feel like if Trump went and tried to tell union folks how much he really loved.
Oh, I see.
That's kind of how it came across.
I love you guys.
People that he doesn't really like. What it
Very flat, very inauthentic. In the psychology game, we would say that's a lot of inauthenticity. He was inauthentic. Well, let's get some beats here, and I'll read the rest of that article. Uh-oh, we still have rock music playing in the background. We can't have this song on during the show, people. That's a good song, though, isn't it? ELO. Living thing, it's a terrible thing to lose. ELO, Electric Light Orchestra. We can't play it, though, but maybe I'll record it, and play it back at slow speed. Then I can use it, because then it's significantly altered in the world of copyright robots. In the mind of the robots is where we live, Jersey. In the mind of the robots. So JD Vance, let's keep going. Let me get my link and post it on Facebook before we go any further. I want to show you the Facebook page. You can follow us on Humans for Democracy right over here on Facebook. At the top of the page, you'll see a big pink Abortion Saves Women sign. And where the blue manage button sits, you'll see a call now button. And if you don't mind, give us a call, and we'll talk about what Jersey Hardclay just brought up, which is JD Vance the worst stand-up comedian who's gone into politics, or the worst politician that's tried to be a stand-up comedian? These are the questions that we try to answer. Okay, it's the weirdest thing to me, JD Vance said flatly. No, I added that. Democrats say it is racist to believe. They'll say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're probably going to call that racist too. Scattered laughs. It's good, he said after a beat, drawing polite laughter from the rally attendees. Vance let out his own breathy laugh at his comment, slapping the podium in front of him. I love you guys, he said, smiling and laughing. I think that might have to already be today's loop. I love you guys. Let me pause the tunes there. It's hard to know who he meant.
Vote for Sleepy Joe. Vote for Sleepy Joe. Vote. Vote for
No.
Sleepy Joe. Vote for Sleepy Joe.
And
Vote.
I'll say this. Sometimes comedians
Sleepy
bomb.
Joe. Vote for
Sometimes
Sleepy Joe.
comedians
Vote for
bomb,
Sleepy Joe.
and that's
Vote.
okay. This is my Vote for Sleepy Joe loop
Vote for Sleepy
that I made a
Joe.
couple
Vote.
weeks ago.
Vote for Sleepy Joe. Vote for Sleepy Joe. Vote for Sleepy Joe.
But
Vote.
Joe,
Vote for Sleepy Joe. Vote for Sleepy Joe.
yeah, we'll switch it to Kamala. I still love my smart grandpa Joe, but I think once again, we underestimated how smart he is. And he said, hey, you know what? It looks like if I bow out, we're going to do much better. And so that's what he did. As I told people he would, because Joe Biden is a guy that does what he thinks is best for the country, not just for Joe Biden. That doesn't mean that he's going to be happy about it. He doesn't have to be happy about it. But I would say, smart grandpa Joe, hashtag Sleepy Joe, we love you. $100 million raised overnight for Kamala. If I had an applause button, I would push it. Kamala. See, I'm saying it wrong. I think we were making fun of Donald Trump saying her name wrong, and then I started practicing saying it the wrong way. Right, and our friend Camila. So that gets in there too. So, congratulations. I think that Mr. Trump has now paired himself with a bad comedian wannabe, and he's going to go down in flames. That's your brother Seamus is making an official prediction today. The Trump-Vance campaign will go down in flames. I do think Donald Trump might have a health incident between now and then. I think he's got issues. I think he has PTSD now from the shooting. I do not think it was an inside job. I think it was a lone wolf situation. I think that young man felt bullied most of his life, bullied terribly. Some of his friends have reported, and he decided Trump was a bully. And he was correct. Trump is a bully. That doesn't mean he should get shot, but he was correct in his assumption. So continuing on here with our story, Vance says, and Jersey Hard Clay reports, the worst line of this was, "I love you guys." So we need to get a beat. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. That's okay. I can do better. Let's see. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love. Love you guys. I love you guys. I love. I love you. We I love you guys. We I made love. it better. We made it better than the I way love he you said guys. it. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love. I love you guys. I love you guys. Let's hear it slowed down. So Jersey Hard Clay is reporting. You can probably hear it in the background, but I'll always repeat what he says in some form or another. That just wind him up and let him talk. Yeah. So what we have here is, for those of you who haven't been in the voting game very long, this man, JD Vance, in my opinion, is a huge, huge hypocrite. He's an actor. He's pretending to be Trump's buddy and to believe in things Trump says he believes in so that he can get power. JD Vance does not like Donald Trump. He never has. He told the truth in the beginning, but then he realized, oh, there's big money over here, and there's some power that Trump might leave lying around on the floor. Let me see if I can join the team and get it. So that's JD Vance for you. Then he makes a joke that everything is racist. Even drinking a Diet Mountain Dew is racist. To liberals, yes, racist to liberals. Let's go ahead and make Diet Mountain Dew a conspiracy theory that somehow evokes racism. But what could it be? What could it be? Let's think on that, and then we'll read the rest of the article here.
Whoever does Mountain Dew doesn't like it.
Right, right. It makes me wonder if there is any marketing that suggests Diet Mountain Dew is more popular with the more hardcore Trump people for some reason.
I know Mountain Dew is considered more sugar and more of a caffeine than Cokes. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's read the rest of the article here. Vance's weak swing at a joke landed as a lazy attempt to score some culture war points. And that wasn't the only cringy moment during his time on stage. Oh, good, there's more. While there was a lot of laughter throughout Vance's 40-minute speech, much of it happened to come from him. Or much of it appeared to come from him. Okay, so he's laughing at his own jokes. I think they call that being too high on your own product. Yeah. I was told I was going to get to debate Kamala Harris. Now President Trump is going to get to debate her, Vance said, laughing again. And at one point he lost his train of thought after the crowd began to boo Harris and started nervously laughing again. While this would escape the interest of any normal person, it's worth noting because his running mate has repeatedly called Vice President Kamala Harris Laughing Kamala. Like Vance's quip about diet soda, this approach to criticism seems to stem from having absolutely nothing of substance to say about a subject, but giving it their best shot anyway. Overall, the Republicans' performance was so underwhelming that even Fox News stopped airing coverage of the speech in the middle. Now, see, that to me, there's your story, people. Let me pause the music here. Now, this is something where some of you, if you are Trump supporters, I'm not here to pick on Trump supporters. I think we have to be able to talk about these things. I will pick on Trump because as a psychologist of 30 years, I cannot help but see him as a con man. And I think there's plenty, the receipts are there. There's plenty of evidence of that. But if you're a Trump supporter, you may think, well, this is bullshit, this article. I saw Vance's speech and I thought it was really funny, and I don't believe that Fox News stopped airing coverage in the middle of his remarks. Well, this is one source, so you have a good point. Maybe they didn't stop in the middle of the coverage. Let's see if we can find out, because the New Republic did a good job of doing what? They linked us to something that might confirm that Fox News stopped airing coverage of Vance's speech in the middle of his remarks. Now, any of you that record Fox News can confirm it for yourselves by going back to Vance's speech, playing it, and then see if Fox News stopped covering it. So now we're going, oh, it's taken us to X. Oh, ACYN is posting on X that Fox is cutting coverage of Vance's speech. Let's see if they're showing it. They're continuing to show it. Oh, there they cut away. Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Now, they may have gone back to it or showed it in its entirety, but this person, ACYN on X, you should probably give them a follow, find out what they're about, find out if they're truthful, but unless they edited this footage, which they could have, it looks like Fox lost interest in... There they go. They cut away from it right there. Okay, so that's pretty verified. Now, if you really don't believe that, or if you say now your argument will be, well, they had other and more important news than his speech. It's like, well, the vice presidential speech it's a pretty important situation there. So, he laid an egg, as they say. And let's do another search, because I'm not done with this rabbit hole just yet. Let's do another search and just say Diet Mountain Dew conspiracy. I won't even say racist. Well, maybe I should say racist. Diet Mountain Dew. Is it DEW? Conspiracy. Let's see if there's anything on Snopes, or for those of you who don't know what Snopes is, it's just where you can fact check some things. Yes, of course, if you're totally paranoid, Snopes could be lying about things too, and everything could be owned by a master race of aliens who are controlling our minds. But short of that, probably we can look at the preponderance of evidence, people. That's what I would say. Let's look at the preponderance of evidence. That's what scientists like to say, and what they mean is, what do most people think who have studied it, not what does one crazy person think. Okay? No offense to crazy people. I'm a crazy people. We all have our own crazy. Andy Beshear, 2 hours ago, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear called JD Vance phony and fake. All right. So now you can read that one. That's from The Hill, and I think The Hill is typically kind of a conservative paper. Now here's the interesting. Here's somebody talking about Mountain Dew conspiracy theories, and there does seem to be a what's your favorite Mountain Dew conspiracy theory. That was a year ago, though. This one, let's check Vocal. I don't know what Vocal is. Pretty much. if there's not a conspiracy theory, we should start one today because they are fun and can be profitable. I'm joking. But I do like the idea of starting a conspiracy just by talking about something, because then people can start to realize that what you're learning on social media may be completely and utterly false. So read your news, but more importantly, don't listen to anyone on social media, including me. Mountain Dew Voodoo. This is from Feast, which I don't know anything about Feast. It looks sort of like what's that? Almost like a community hive type situation. Let's read the article, then we'll go back. This is by Allison Lewis. Now, this is nice. One thing to look for when you see an author is that you can click on that person and go read their other stuff. If they're real journalists or real writers, you'll find other stuff. You can read it. You can get a sense of who they are. You might even be able to support them in some way if you like them. Okay, Mountain Dew. This is not diet, I should point out. I thought we were going to do the diet, but here we go. There are two conspiracy theories I hold to be true. The first one is that Jimi Hendrix was murdered. I don't know about that one. That's interesting. The second is that there are few new Mountain Dew flavors. While I personally have no evidence of either, I'm strong in my convictions. I first started believing the Mountain Dew theory when they came out with their line of Kickstart beverages, a more caffeinated version from their staple flavors. While they were indeed heavier on caffeine and rivaled other energy drink brands in their own way, there was nothing remarkably different about them. In blind taste test, I could possibly pinpoint Code Red and Baja Blast, but otherwise, could I identify the other flavors? Not really. They are unmistakably Mountain Dew. That much is clear, but with the overwhelming citrus blend base used for every single flavor, we have to wonder what the difference truly is. This isn't a call to action. I like that. I have nothing to gain from that. I'm just making an observation. When I told my friend, he likened it to the Taco Bell method of rolling out new items. He explained that while, yes, technically they do have new menu items that are given a wow factor of being available for a limited time, few items are truly new. They tend to have the same elements: meat, beans, cheese, potatoes, and various combinations. In a way, it's comforting because I feel confident that anytime I go to Taco Bell, anytime I go to Taco Bell for something new, I will end up liking it. I enjoy meat, cheese, beans, and potatoes. That's pretty funny.
Taco burrito enchiladas are awesome.
Yeah.
Taco burrito enchilada quesadillas.
So this is the only conspiracy it seems about Mountain Dew is sort of a semi-legitimate. It's not even a conspiracy. It's just that their flavors are kind of the same basic flavors.
Jersey's got to go. We got a meeting, but I'm just wondering.
Jersey's got to go.
Conspiracy around corn nuts. I don't know.
Could be.
Something I've been thinking about lately.
Oh, hey, look, I found something new here. MAGA's new conspiracy to defend Trump from Biden debate is wildest yet. The MAGA Republicans' new conspiracy on the Trump-Biden debate involves Mountain Dew? ? All right, we're going to come back to that in a minute. I need to get properly dressed and get my coffee. So let me put on some tunes for you. We'll be back in a few. This is the Brother Seamus Show. We had to get into the Mountain Dew question, and didn't we have another question? Did we answer it? We had two questions. What was JD Vance and Oh, okay. We'll do that one another time. A single conspiracy. Yeah. But basically, a Southern Baptist minister. Okay. So he was higher up in the Southern Baptist religious organization. He was fired because he said something positive about Joe Biden. This is what the word on the street, people. We're going to check into that in part 2 of today's Brother Seamus Show, people. I'm going to leave you with this music and maybe I'll leave you with my most recent Trump cartoon. It's more interesting. Well, let's look at the outside. Let's see how the street's looking out here in Walla Walla, Washington. The Brother Seamus Show, 509-676-6032. I'll be back in a few minutes to do a little more preaching. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. I don't have that many followers yet, but I'm not too concerned about it because I'm just enjoying what I'm doing, really. And maybe someday I'll get like 5 or 6 callers. That'd be fun. Here's what the YouTube page looks like. It's the Brother Seamus Show. I think we have 54 videos. If you want to see the most up-to-date stuff, click on the Live tab. That's where all my new performances are going. They're a little bit jumbled and out of order, but when you go to the home page, for the love of me, if somebody knows, I don't know how YouTube decides to order things. I think they're trying to do an algorithm on people instead of just showing them my videos. Even when you click videos, it's still out of order. All right, take it easy, Jersey. Taking off. All right, that was Jersey Hardclay talking from the stands today. You're going to see him move out to his car here. We'll cut over to this is Jersey Hardclay taking off, overlooking my beautiful wildflowers right there. There's Jersey getting in his old, what is that? That's like a Jimmy or something, or a Jeep. I don't know what that is. This is the Brother Seamus Show. Let's keep the music going. I'm going to put it on a loop. I hope you'll call us. The phone lines are open. Let's make sure the phone lines are open. Yes, there they are.
Oh, this is Cliff at the Kent County Road Commission. I just want to thank you for the service that you're doing for free on the internet. We got a lot of guys out on the road right now clearing all the ice and snow so people can get home safely. And the free entertainment and spiritual guidance that you're providing the citizens of Kent County is greatly appreciated. Thank you for drawing some recognition to all of that. And just want to let you know your YouTube signal is working correctly, and we are receiving it loud and clear. So again, keep up the good work, and God bless you, boys.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for calling. It's the Brother Seamus Show. Phone lines are open, 509-676-6032. Today we're talking about Diet Mountain Dew conspiracy theory. There doesn't seem to be a real conspiracy theory here, but if we talk about it enough, if we talk about it enough, we can really make something happen here. Now, some of you might say, well, Fox News cut away from JD Vance's speech. So what? And you might be right. But it might also be that he was bombing. That's the argument that's been presented here today. I think at the end of the day, what's most interesting about Mr. Vance, possible vice president of the United States, I think what's most interesting is that the things he used to say about Trump. Not that long ago, he said he compared him to Hitler. If you don't know that, if you're just joining us, JD Vance thought Donald Trump was like an American Hitler. He did, and I agreed with him because I've argued before, and I'll argue again, I'll continue to prosecute my case that Donald Trump is, in my opinion, as an atheist preacher, in my humble opinion, Donald Trump is some kind of an antichrist, okay? I don't really believe in God and the devil. I think humans can come up with plenty of evil. We're really good at coming up with evil stuff. So I think JD Vance was right. But then he said, oh, I can get closer to power, so boop, he jumps right over there. I don't know if you want a guy like that in the White House. Somebody that's that sneaky. Somebody that lacks, I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's a lack of moral character. You have to have a little bit. I mean, all politicians probably do things that aren't all that great. But you got to have some, right? You got to have some character. And this guy ain't got any, I'm afraid. But when I get back, after I get my coffee, I'm going to talk about Diet Mountain Dew and what they're attempting to do here. They're looking for, I think what they're doing is they're looking for anything that can energize these voters. What can get Trump voters energized now that they've been outplayed? I think that's, in a very real sense, what's happened is the Democratic Party has outplayed the Republican Party. It's perfectly legal. Joe Biden can step aside anytime he wants. If somebody wants to challenge Kamala for the seat, they can challenge her. That's the great thing about democracy. The Democratic Party can field whichever candidate it chooses. And even those of you who love Trump, I know you may not believe this, but Trump's there for the rich guys. JD Vance is there for the rich guys. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will continue the same policy. They worked on behalf of working people. They supported unions. If you ever really wonder what Trump is all about, think about his relationship to unions that protect your income. They want you to think a Hispanic invasion is taking away your income, but it's not. Because it's the rich white guys that keep hiring the immigrants. The immigrants keep coming because there's jobs here. If they really wanted to stop the immigrants from coming, they would arrest the business owners who hire them. But those are their people. They really need immigrants here. We all need them here. They prop up our economy. But they're the best ones to make the enemy, because otherwise you look for the real enemy, which is this guy and the guys that he represents. The richest people in the world. And they don't care about American citizens. They don't care about unions. They don't care about your standard of living, your cost of living going up and up, but your standard of living is stuck. Now, I know y'all probably think I'm a crazy socialist Democrat, communist, Marxist, whatever, but simple economics can get you through this one. Who did the Trump tax cut go to, mostly? It benefited people in the working class a little bit, but mostly it went to the super, super duper rich. So when this guy tells you Donald Trump is akin to Hitler, and then he tells you, oh, I love him so much and I believe everything he's doing, you got to ask yourself, is this man being honest with you? Because I don't think he is. I think when Joe Biden supported the unions that were on strike, when Joe Biden stood on the picket line, first time ever, I think he told you what he was about. Now, I know he's out now. But you got to remember the Democratic Party supports unions. They support organized labor. What they're trying to do is make sure that people who get these jobs can earn an actual living so they can pay their mortgage and not be in constant debt and not run up credit card bills. He's actually trying to help regular people. If you're just joining us, this is the Brother Seamus Show, and I love me some smart Grandpa Joe, but he just showed us how smart he is. He stepped aside, right? He stepped aside as an act of bravery. Stepped aside. He stepped aside. He stepped aside. He stepped aside. Yeah. He stepped aside. Love you guys, I love you guys, I love. I love you guys, I love you guys, I love. I love you guys, I love you guys, I love you guys, I love. I love you guys. about that disturbance, everybody. This is the Brother Seamus Show. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Smoke 'em if you got it. So you know what, I think I'm going to switch up the music for you here. I've got a new track that I've been calling it a preaching track because I like to get my preach on with this music. But I'm going to put it on right now so I can listen to it while I brew my coffee. Where did it go is the question. I think I can find it on my player if I look carefully. There we go. This is a tune. That is not the right one, people. That happens quite a bit with the media player. I'm not sure why. Sam's preaching tunes. There we go. Volume's way down on this. Let's turn it up. $10,000 millisecond slide to the left, please. Slide to the left. Go ahead, you're on the air with Brother Seamus.
Am I in the air with Brother Seamus?
You're on the air with Brother Seamus. How are you doing today, sir? I'm going to pause the music for a second so we can hear each other better. Let's see. There we go. And who might I say is calling today?
This is Jersey Hardclay.
Oh, Jersey Hardclay. I'm sorry, sir. You know what? Your number came up without... I could tell it was somebody I knew from the Walla Walla, Washington area, but it didn't have your name for some reason. Oh, that's because you're calling through the studio line, which I don't think has any of my contacts yet. Because I try to keep...
Okay.
I try to keep business separate from, personal connections. And we should tell the people at home that I've known Jersey Hardclay for about 20 years or 20 or more. I don't know.
Well, I just got an update here, and I wanted to just...
Oh, good.
There's the gentleman from the Southern Baptist Conference who was the president of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission, was what his title was, was actually reinstated because the gentleman that fired him went ahead and did it and thinking that their board or whatever, that it would have been a firing grievance. And that guy has since resigned. I'm not giving specifics on the name.
Interesting.
His name
So
is
it's...
Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith resigned as the chair of the executive committee because he went ahead and let this man go. And they said, no, you did it without our permission or whatever. But it was clear to him, he thought what he did was to fire. So either they must not have, being a decent person, saying something decent about another person must not be part of their deal. But
apparently
he
not.
got confused. Anyway, just want to say that might be a separate story in itself now, is that you have a guy that thought their agreement was to let somebody go for doing this. But,
exactly.
How did he get confused? But I just wanted you could put that story.
No, that's good, because what I like is it's turned into another layer of story. But let's back it up for people who don't know the story. This gentleman was fired because he said something nice about Joe Biden. So he was fired.
Yeah, I'll just paraphrase. He said what Biden did by stepping down was a selfless decision or something like that, because he was putting his country before his personal, career or
country
his personal
before career,
whatever.
Yeah,
however you want to put it. And he just thought that lacked in today's world. So he gave him credit for it. And then this guy said, hey, he's going to get rid of you, buddy.
And so they pounced on him.
That has all been reversed now. He's back in his position.
And now he's back. And he was on the ethics, say that part again, his ethics and something chair or something?
He was the president of Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. This is with the Southern Baptist Convention.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know all these organizations. I don't know. They got so many and so many umbrellas.
They're hard to keep track of. They really are.
Yeah, I get an umbrella when it's raining, and that's about the only time I can remember all that.
Well, thanks for that update, Jersey. While I have you here, what advice do you have for the kids at home who are cynical about voting? They're young, they're excited about Kamala, but last time 81 million people sat at home and did not vote. What's your advice for those people?
Well, I'd like to remind people that first things first, nobody gets everything they want when you vote. Because if they did, we'd have to have 1.8 million people running.
That's right.
And even then, you still have people unhappy because there's probably more than 1.8 million possibilities when you consider everything.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. I mean, I would say anybody that says they're both the same, there may have been a day where you could kind of get away with that a little.
Sure, back in the day.
When they were a little closer together, but we're a little farther apart here. You've got one party that pretty much wants to give it all over to one guy and a bunch of guys with money, and then you got the rest of us, which is always harder to get together because we're more diverse.
Yeah.
Anybody to the left of the Trump movement isn't just liberal.
Right.
I mean,
right.
there's conservatives in there and center, and we all have to come together to get rid of this. And then we get some ranked choice voting, and then we could start getting people, you know, they can see that certain people that believe in certain things are getting support, and they're being like, hey, we might have to bring this person in and look at these labor issues a little more, or look at this issue a little more. So we have to stop this from happening. We'll never even be in a position.
No, that's true. And you mentioned ranked choice voting. And so that's I think,
answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And I think young people who, if you don't know what ranked choice voting is, it's basically where you pick your number one person, but then you're like, well, what if that person doesn't win? Who do I want as number two? And who do I want as number three? So the idea is it's not an all or nothing game. And if those young voters, they don't realize how much power they have, right? They don't believe they have that much power, but they have the largest vote. The Gen Z and Millennials together, I think, can outvote any group, including the baby boomers now. And if they realize how much power they have, they could have Medicare for all in one cycle. They could get Kamala in there. She may not be able to get it through the first time, but if 20 million, 40 million more people show up to vote, we could have Medicare for all by 2028. I would argue. And ranked choice voting washes out extremist candidates like Mr. Trump. Washes them right out.
I mean, the final thing I'll say is, like, you know, living in a democracy in a country like we have, I'll say Democratic Republic, whatever you want to call it, it's both of those, it's hard to have a country with a bunch of different opinions. So you have to have a certain general sense of what freedom is. And you can't just chuck it all to one guy and a bunch of angry people.
Right.
Because they want control of everything. And it's just, you have to stop that. You'll never get what you want.
Exactly.
If you let this go by. There's a difference. There is, and I'm glad you used the word democracy, because on our previous show we covered this idea that a lot of people on the right are saying, well, we're not a democracy, we're a republic, but they're essentially the same thing. It's just different wording. Words can mean lots of things, and democracy in this sense means that we elect our leaders, as opposed to and you usually have a constitution that protects you. But they'll say we're not a democracy because what they mean is we're not a pure democracy. But almost nobody is a pure democracy because it's kind of a confusing subject. Point being, do you want a dictator or not? do you want to rule? Right, and you know what? I know a guy who would never vote for a Democrat for any reason. Now, he seems to have a lot of hate for the right too, but he's a guy on the right. He's know-it-all. He thinks he knows a lot of stuff, but even he has said that to other people when they bring that question up. He goes, he's the one that says it's both. He says, like, it's both. It's a Democrat and a Republic. And that's a good way to put it, because then we don't have to argue what the words mean. Just it is. That's what we are. And if we're using two words that work together, well,
and that's the
so
whole,
be it. But at least even what I guess I'm just trying to say, if you're more a conservative person, you can think for yourself and see that it's actually both, and that this is just an argument to get people to just hate each other, and then, you know, most of them don't even know what the hell they're talking about.
Right. And I think being a psychologist, I would also add, they want you to think the word democracy is a bad word, because then they can start to suggest, as Vladimir Putin has done in Russia, that it's better to just give power to one man, and you don't really need a democracy because we're a republic anyway. So they're trying to muddy the water, and it's a dangerous argument, because when you give up electing your leaders and every election is a sham, you're going to lose your rights. And you think Putin is cool. That's another problem I have. I think, Jersey, you've mentioned this too, like thinking Putin is cool, but I dare you to go to Russia and insult him publicly and see what happens. You don't have any right to free speech at all. But they think he's so cool. It's like, you really want to do that here? And even the Christians that think they want to take over the government with Christianity, well, what if they turn on you too? What if they say your type of Christianity isn't strong enough or good enough? Because Christians are not of one mind. There are many, many different flavors of Christianity. So you better be careful who's in charge. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you know, and this goes deeper. If you know Texas Paul on the internet, there he had this bit where he said he was talking about the people that are supporting Heritage Foundation, you know, this Republican vein of saying this money, this power, they're for guns and this and that. And he was talking about how eventually when you let somebody like that take over, eventually guess what they come for?
Yeah.
Your guns.
Right, that's
so the
right.
People
like
that
if,
are going to absolutely take all your guns away are most likely going to be this group of people down the road.
Yeah, no doubt.
If it is anybody else.
No doubt. The other
which
thing,
I thought was interesting. It's happened in all types of dictatorial, authoritarian things. Apparently, I'm just repeating.
Sure.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest here with my opinion here. I studied some stuff over the years, but I couldn't, you know, give you a whole list of all the incidents where that's true. But it makes sense because now, what it means is those people are going to end up getting angry with the government too.
Sure.
And those are going to be the ones that are going to be showing up with their guns. So they're going to want to get them from you. It doesn't matter what you thought or who you supported before. They're going to want to protect the power, the money.
Yeah, of course. And I'm going to go back to, I want to take you back to the beginning. You mentioned this fella you follow on Instagram. I'm looking him up right now. He's on Instagram. It goes by Texas Paul, we think.
I think that's it. I'm on my phone, so I can't get on Instagram.
I'm going to pull it up so people can see it too, because I want them to hear what he had to say about how they eventually.
I'm not sure when that was, though. It was a few days ago, I think.
Oh, that's okay. They can follow him. They will figure it out.
Did you find his page?
Yeah, but now it's making me log in with a security code, so I'm going to abandon ship on that for the moment.
All right. Well,
Texas Paul.
Anyway,
Texas Paul on Instagram.
I wanted to update you on this Southern Baptist Ethics Religious Liberty Commission guy.
Yeah.
But we went a little further.
Well, that's what happens, you know, when you go down the wormhole. I also wanted to say about guns. I think what I like to remind people on the right, because I don't have any problem with. I understand people are scared that that's actually going to happen. I don't think they're pretending to be scared, but the people scaring them are lying to them. And one way you know they're lying is because even liberals would not agree to abolish the Second Amendment. You would have to have 2/3 of both houses to take guns away, and there's not a liberal that I know that would vote to take away guns. All they want to do is vote to have safety.
Yeah, they don't want people to have all these automatic weapons and semi-automatic bump stocks.
Yeah.
And I'd be the last person to ask if you wanted to have expert opinions on guns.
Right.
All that stuff, because I think I had a beat.
Oh, there he is. I got him. It's Texas Paul Schroeder.
Yes.
Okay, let me show the people back home. He's very easy to see. He's good. He's got a good face for Instagram because his thumbnail profile is real easy to recognize. So we're just discussing something he said probably in the past week or two about.
I would say in the last like maybe 4 days. I don't know.
And he's trying to convince, and I agree with him. I'm going to try to become his friend. He's trying to convince the Trumpers in an honest way that when you get a dictator, like Trump says he wants to be, when you get a dictator, they might be the ones that come to take your guns, not the liberals. Because the liberals would have to run it through Congress, and how are you going to get 2/3 of Congress to agree on that? You're never going to get that.
Well, and another point is it may not even be Trump that does it, but Trump will make it.
So it's possible.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
You know, but.
All right, people. So that's straight from Jersey Hardclay's mouth here today. This is the Brother Seamus Show. It is the 23rd day of July, 2024. Jersey Hardclay, can I put you on record as giving Texas Paul Schroeder an official thumbs up recommendation?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You heard it from Jersey Hard Clay, people. Give Texas Paul Schrader a follow. We don't know him personally. We're just, what would you say? Are we fanboys, Jersey? Are we officially?
Well, I just like him because he seems well informed. He's opinionated. You might not agree with him on every absolute thing, but
sure. But
yeah.
He's got a good way. What I like about him, and I'm still just working my way through his oeuvre. I'm working my way through.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
He's got a very direct style, and he's not. I don't find him to. I think some people get too mean in their delivery when you're trying to talk to Trumpers, and you're trying to, at the risk of sounding condescending, but trying to talk some sense into them. It can come across as being too dicky. I don't want to be a liberal leftist dickhead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he straight talks people.
He's a straight talker.
He's not pulling punches, and he's not being an asshole. I mean, he gets fired up.
He gets fired
up. He'll rip on him pretty hard sometimes, but he's a guy you could have a conversation with.
Exactly.
Converse with anybody. Sure.
Exactly.
Sure, definitely.
That's a good way to put it. You could show up at his house, and if you're a Trumper, and this is, by the way, this is the Brother Seamus motto as well. I don't care if you're a Trumper. If you need a ride to the voting station, if you're my neighbor and I see you fall down your steps because it's icy, I don't give a shit if you're a Trumper. I'm going to help you. That's what neighbors are supposed to do. That's what the Jesus that they say they follow, the Christian fundamentalists, say they follow Jesus, but then it's like, but you want us to hate our neighbors too? That doesn't seem like Jesus.
Yeah, and I know, and anytime, I've had people in my house fixing something. They were totally good guys. We totally had good conversations. And he just kind of mentioned that, and I kind of said, I'm not really a Trump fan, but he was real nice about it, actually.
Oh, that's good.
More like 4 years ago.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, you know what? No, it just proves the point that people are just people.
Hey, and I'll be the first to admit that my early attempts at this program, the Brother Seamus program, I called it Humans for Democracy at first, but I was too mean. I was too aggressive. And so what I'm doing now is trying to reach out directly to the Trumpers and saying, hey, look, I'm not here to judge you. I'm judging him. I think he's bad for you. I think he's tricking you. And I'm an atheist preacher, and I don't really believe in God and the devil, but I think he might be like an antichrist type figure. I really do. Now, I don't know what that means exactly, but...
Well, if you were being too mean at the beginning, boy, I'd hate to see what I was like back then.
Well, I think we all got...
I don't ever see you as being mean to people very often.
I think we all got caught up in... I mean, this is my take. I think we all got caught up in and were afraid because I think Trump's genius, and this is where he is truly a genius, he's good at making people afraid. This idea that there's an invasion coming really scares people. And what I want to say as a psychologist to these people is that I start to get worried about how stressed out they are and how this will affect them. And it might make them do something rash on either side, like the guy that just shot at Trump. He probably got fired up by all the angry rhetoric, and there was some angry rhetoric on both sides. It wasn't, the left wasn't anything approaching what was happening on the right. But that being said, we were all part of the problem because we're humans, and humans. We get pissed off sometimes, people. We get real pissed off. And then we say too much. And then you know what I say, Jersey, before I let you go? When you get all pissed off, you got to take a walk. You got to take some deep breaths and talk to somebody that you respect, but who disagrees with you. Talk to a friend. And like we were looking at earlier, read some different articles by different people. Try to get some ideas that aren't just coming straight out of your TV into your head. Because, Jersey, I don't know about you, but I think that and social media is where they get people pretty fucked up.
Yeah, because, I've done it on Trump stuff, And,
Yeah.
you know, the bad thing for Trump, and, you know, because nobody can hold him down, it's like, dude, you just say crazy shit all the time.
Yeah.
That they'll just put all this other crazy shit on there, and everybody thinks you said it because you're just fucking crazy all the fucking time. But I think all those people aren't around him anymore.
Yeah.
They all got pushed to the side,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's
I
a
don't know.
phenomenon. I mean, I have said this before, and it makes some of my liberal people don't like this. I'll say I think he really is a genius. I give Donald Trump credit for being a particular type of genius. That doesn't mean he's. It doesn't say anything at all about where his heart is or where his ethics are. You can be a mad genius. He says he's what, a very stable genius.
Right.
But I don't know about that. I think what he's really good at is manipulating audiences through mass communication. And he has,
Right.
algorithms
Go
to
ahead.
help. Algorithms are there to help him.
Well, I think it's the timing. It's
Yeah.
the timing of social media and technology and fast information and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, you wonder how effective it would be 4 years before. Because I'll say this, since Trump's come on the scene, I don't think I've thought more about politics than any other fucking 7-year
Right,
stretch of my
right.
entire fucking life. And if you can say that doesn't apply to you, you might be alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Because there were years with even Bush where you'd go along, right? You'd go along for a few weeks. You wouldn't
Sure.
even think about one damn thing that the government did or whatever.
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
You know.
It was
maybe
kind
a
of nice.
tragedy or there's a war. You know, and I'm not saying that's good. That's a whole other argument.
Well, not
a
paying
whole other
attention
discussion.
to it. Yeah, I think this has forced us, and in a way, we have to thank Trump's genius for getting people so brainwashed that it alarmed the other half of the population to come out and vote. And more than a half, I'd say about 60% of the population is alarmed, and that's due to Mr. Trump. There's not been a force like him, and we should understand that doesn't mean he's right. He's just really good at convincing people.
I think it still goes back to, like we were saying, the technology thing, because now you got Ding Dong McWhatever, that has a site. He's got 1.5 million followers, and he's doing news stuff. So he's just kind of picking what he thinks is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's this way to get all this other information out, and it's just, it's that old example. I think it was somewhere in India where some small village, the people all got phones like we have, like iPhones or something, and they had never had a computer before. They were never even introduced to technology.
They
so
skipped
they thought
it. Yeah.
Everything they read was the truth, and somebody accused some guy of like raping their dog, and it wasn't true.
Yeah.
But the mob ended up killing the guy. Yeah.
Right.
Because the people just went fucking crazy, and they all fucking ran and they killed the guy and found out that it hadn't happened. That people didn't understand that. It's kind of like us. We've got a slow. We got into it a lot slower.
Yeah.
And we're still affected by it, but it shows you how drastic it can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Yeah, and you make a good point, because kind of like when I was looking up those articles, don't jump to the conclusion that just because you're seeing something on your phone that it's true, because these folks, and this is happening all over the world, they never had infrastructure like we did for the internet in their homes, so they suddenly get to smartphones. They've never dealt with the internet before, and suddenly they're online and they're being bombarded with perhaps false information. And Jersey, you just hit one important point, which is we got to slow it down, because if people react in haste, based on social media especially, don't do that, people. If they react in haste, they might kill somebody.
Well, and it's like you said, we got to slow it down, but we went through it slow, and look how it's affected us. It's got us pretty messed up.
Yeah.
And here's a village, boy, they just went nuts.
Yeah.
So
don't believe anything you hear on social media, including your brother Seamus, because you don't know me. You don't know Jersey Hardclay. You don't know we might be making up a conspiracy.
Village, I don't know if it was like a community.
I think I did.
Thing,
yeah.
Or if it was a social media type thing, or I
Yeah.
mean, it's similar nowadays, I guess. It's just the same
Yeah.
kind of thing, but.
Yeah, and I like to remind people constantly that the thing about social media that's different, because yes, Adolf Hitler happened before social media. You can always have people like Trump or Adolf Hitler who are so good at persuading people, but then add to that they can pay money to an algorithm corporation who says, I know where the people are who are most likely to believe your bullshit. And then you go after them, you ping them again and again and again, and you eventually get them convinced, especially really vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sue them. That's the real trick. The tech bros wrote their own legislation so that they're not considered publishers. Fox News got sued for lying about the stolen election because it was a lie. And they had to pay $780 million, almost $1 billion to Dominion. But you can't sue Facebook the same way because they're not considered a publisher. That's the real conspiracy I want to spread around. It's not even a conspiracy.
So really, we shouldn't have social media, or it needs to have tighter.
Yeah, they are publishers, and they do make money off. Yeah. I would say there's no difference now between Fox News and Facebook.
Right.
I refuse to call them Meta because I think that name sucks. And I refuse to say X for Twitter because you don't need to change your names, motherfuckers. We know what you are. You're Twitter.
Yeah.
You're Facebook. Stop trying to hide. Well, all right, Jersey, that's a pretty good show. I think we nailed it. Any closing thoughts?
I'm about ready to cook some chicken.
You're gonna cook some chicken. That sounds pretty good. I'm gonna eat some leafy greens because I've been reading more and more about how good that is for your brain. You got to eat the leafy greens, people.
I'm having leafy greens with the chicken.
Ooh, that's nice. So that's nice.
Power greens.
What kind of what kind of seasonings you putting on there?
Probably a little salt, pepper, garlic, and then probably some paprika.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm doing it in the crock pot. It doesn't take long for the size. So.
Yeah, crock pots are nice. I think they cook.
Y'all know more about Jersey's meal now.
Well, Jersey, we'll check in with you.
None of you.
We'll check in with you another time. Thanks for your input. I before you go, I wanted to go back to the Diet Mountain Dew conspiracy. We didn't really get a good one going, but let's say for homework we'll think about what a good conspiracy involving Diet Mountain Dew would be. And it has to have something to do with being woke, or does it? Or can we just say
no? Because he said liberals would say drinking a Diet Mountain Dew is racist.
That's right.
I'm not sure yet. I guess we would have to get politically incorrect to create a story.
If you're really woke, they want you to be. They want you to be afraid of wokeism. And let me just say this. Come on, you guys. People can be as woke as they want to be. Who gives a shit? I would like to.
Well, that's all.
Yeah. Go ahead.
With all the woke stuff, they make up these fake cultural battles, and then they become cultural battles.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it was never an uncommon thing to be aware of what's around you.
Yeah.
And what's going on.
Yeah.
That's not like some crazy idea, because that's basically, I guess, if you're going to make it into a generic term, not use it in the term that Black Americans, because they were the ones that used the word woke, and then white people started to use it. And, I'm not going to be too hard, but words' meanings change, and I'm going to leave that at that. That's going to be get too crazy.
Well, let's do this,
I think you understand what I'm saying.
Let's go back to, I would like to inject, since we're making up conspiracy theories, I would like to incorporate Bigfoot into, I think, Jersey, you might be a fan of this idea too. The Diet Mountain Dew racist conspiracy should involve Bigfoot somehow.
Okay.
I don't know how, but I think it'll turn out that Bigfoot likes Diet Mountain Dew. And that will blow the idea out of the water that they'll say it's racist. Because how could it be racist if another species is drinking it? Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I think if I'm having a hard time thinking what would make drinking a soda racist. So I guess if the creator of Diet Mountain Dew was Grand Wizard of the KKK,
there you go.
That it represented
there you
KKK,
go.
then it'd be a pretty clear picture.
Right.
But
right.
I got nothing, man.
Yeah, I don't either, and we'll leave it there. We'll make that the homework for the audience too. Like, send us your thoughts on how we can embellish a false conspiracy on purpose for entertainment reasons. And I guess it could be Mountain Dew in general. Does it have to be diet? I don't think it has to be.
I don't know.
All right.
It wouldn't have to be.
All right. Well, we did our best here today on the Brother Seamus Show. Thank you for calling in, Dr. Jersey Hard Clay Johnson. And we will, and Hard Clay, just for people who don't know you, you're most famous for your career as a badmintonist. Is that correct?
As a what?
As a badminton player. Weren't you in the Olympic badminton team back in the day?
No, I wasn't. That
okay.
May have been my
I thought
cousin.
there you go. Your cousin.
Yeah.
All right, Jersey. Well, thanks for calling. And this is the Brother Seamus Show. We will catch you all back here whenever the hell I feel like doing this again. I try to do it, I don't know, once a week. There goes Jersey to make his chicken with his greens. Follow us on Facebook, Humans for Democracy. I go live on YouTube because it's just easier to manage, and I post the live link on Humans for Democracy. You can call us by clicking on the Call Now button on Humans for Democracy. Let me show you some t-shirts you could buy. Folks, go to Humans for Democracy on bonfire.com, /store/Humans for Democracy. We have some wonderful Immigrants Make Great Americans t-shirts for sale. Lots of styles, lots of colors. And it's one of my first t-shirt designs. Your brother Seamus made this himself. I hope you check those out. We aim to have, let me read you our Bill of Rights here on our webpage. What does Humans for Democracy stand for? Well, we believe that women should have the right to choose, always. We believe immigrants make great Americans. Is there crime sometimes with immigrant communities? Of course there is. It's no different than crime with white communities. There is no invasion. It's a lie. It's something to get you afraid. Climate change is real. The science is overwhelming at this point, people. It's just overwhelming. We're breaking heat records constantly. It doesn't mean we're all going to die, but we might have bad air, bad water, and high temperatures to deal with for a long, long time. No liberal person I know wants to get rid of guns. They just want gun safety. We also, along those same lines, we want more mental health cops. That is, cops with specialized training in mental health and de-escalation techniques. And if you don't vote, people, you can be cynical about it. But let me put it this way. If you do vote, the power that young people have right now is unprecedented as far as I know, at least in my lifetime. The power that you all have right now is beyond what the baby boomers and the Gen Xers have combined. And more than half the Gen Xers are going to be on your side anyway. So if you're a young voter, now is your time to strike. You could put a hurt on. You know who wants to work with Trump most closely are the fossil fuel corporations. Most closely, they want to work with him. They don't want any climate change stuff going through. So if you care about the climate, even if you don't love the Democratic Party as a whole, this is where the work's going to get done. And you could push that agenda because your numbers are so high. The number of eligible voters in the Gen Z and millennial generations is astounding. I don't have any pie charts right now, but you can Google it yourself, or trust me. If y'all turned out and you function as a hive, this is the case I keep trying to prosecute. If Gen Z and millennials vote together, you could have universal health care within 2 cycles. I'm not saying it's going to happen this first time around, but you could have universal health care in 2 cycles, people. You could have gun safety, done. You could have free or very, very affordable preschool. We could start spending less on national defense and more on schools, more on housing. We can make housing a human right. We have the money, we lack the will. The party of Trump is just quite simply the party of the super wealthy people who want to stop this agenda. If you don't trust me, trust Bernie Sanders. He's been saying it for a long time. A lot of people have been saying it for a long time. But what I don't think people talk about enough is how big the voting group is, the cohort, we would say. Millennials and Gen Z people, you are so powerful right now. So powerful, you don't even know how powerful you are. And Americans, our voter turnout pretty bad. I mean, to put it simply, we are, I think we're 31st in the world with voting. We're not very good. We're pretty bad at it. Number 1 is Uruguay. Vote like you're from Uruguay. Vote like you're from France. Vote like you're from Uruguay. Give the kids a chance. That's a chant I'm working on right now. So what's my point? My point is, you got to give up your cynicism because we need you. We cannot do this without young voters. And maybe Kamala Harris is enough to get you guys going. So American voters, we're 31st in the world. We suck. However, we have one thing going for us. When we get registered, over 90% of us vote once we're registered. So if you want to help, don't even worry about convincing anybody of particular ideas right now. Just get people registered. Just say, hey, look, more voter participation makes us a healthier democracy. That's what centrism really is. It's not making a deal with would-be dictators. It's saying we're going to protect democracy with the smartest choices. It's the homeostasis. If our world is being destroyed by fossil fuels, we're not going to empower the fossil fuel lobby. That's what the Trump side wants to do. I don't think we can let that happen, people. I don't think we can let that happen. That it would be so disastrous for our environment. And I know that a lot of you think that's all fake stuff, but look around you, man. Look around you. Look how many forest fires. Look at Chicago got blanketed by smoke from a wildfire in Canada, hundreds and hundreds of miles north. Minneapolis got covered. Grand Rapids got covered by smoke. You'll be able to see these things. It's going to cause people to flee their countries. It's already happening because it'll be too hot. Our own cities, Dallas, Phoenix, will suffer incredible heat waves. Houston is just getting flooded over and over again. I feel like Houston might be one of the first casualties. If I think New Orleans was really the first casualty, but you get what I'm saying. I don't have all the answers. I never pretended to have all the answers. But what I do have is I have knowledge of what people can do when they get together. When you get together. young people, you could run the show. You really could. And you could do some of the things that, to you, like affordable housing for everyone, or college assistance to everyone based on need, those things that seem that obvious to you, that we've been fighting, us Gen Xers have been fighting against the baby boomers for decades to try to get them to stop spending so much on defense and more on education and healthcare. You guys could actually do it, because we'll help you. Your brother Seamus is a good Gen X atheist preacher, psychologist, and we'll help you, but we don't have the numbers. You've got the numbers. And you guys got to link up. You got to link up. You're not going to get everything you want the first time around. It doesn't work that way. But look for the homeostasis. What is it we all agree on? We all agree that abortion should be legal and that it should be between a woman and her doctor. Nobody should be forced to get an abortion. Nobody's going to force anyone to get an abortion. Mr. Trump said women should be punished. Not only should they be stopped, they should be punished. He said that himself. If you're a Trump supporter, look it up. He said it with his own mouth on CNN. See, there I helped you. He said it on CNN. Go look. You'll probably say it's AI, but I can't help you there. What can we all agree upon? Gen Z and millennial voters, you have the power right now to make those things come true. Affordable housing, healthcare for everyone, not linked to your job. If you want to buy it through your job and it's available, great. But everybody should have it automatically. The minute you lose it from work, you should have it automatically, based on your need. And for those of you who are Trumpers and older white men like me who feel threatened by all this stuff, let me just tell you something. Not only is getting rid of racism good for the persecuted, it's also good for the persecutors. Now, I know I shouldn't use that word because it's loaded. But even though as a white man of a certain age, I get a lot of privilege, I would still be better off in a more fair society. I would benefit from that, because what we're doing right now is we're suppressing the creativity and the talent of certain members of society based upon either gender identity, skin pigmentation, religion, or the ultimate social class, right? If we keep people poor and disenfranchised, we keep them from recognizing their talents. Those talents could benefit all of us. I made a statement online. I'll leave you with this. I keep saying I'm going to leave, but then I don't. I made a statement online. I typed it into Facebook. I can't quite remember when. It's been about a year or two. It might have been TikTok. Anyway, I was, as an example, saying, if we don't fund schools, if there's a poor black girl in a poor district who could be, let's say, a genius surgeon, but she never gets the support, she never makes it to medical school, that harms all of us. Because what if she's a genius surgeon that would have figured out some new way to do something that helps everybody? And somebody wrote back, well, what if it was a poor white girl, huh? You only care about poor black girls? And I was like, no, that's not. I don't think I even responded because the guy was so nasty. But a poor white girl, same point. If you're held down because you're poor and you're white, or you're poor and you're black, it doesn't matter. You're still getting held down. It just so happens that if you're poor and you're black and you're female, you have 3 strikes against you. If you're poor but you're white, it might be slightly better for you. Only slightly, because poor people really do get blocked out of things. And they also get incarcerated at rates that are just unbelievable. It's a waste of money and time to incarcerate so many people. But there's an industry that has grown up around incarceration. So my point is this. White men, you're not really being picked on. A more fair society, there might be a sting to it when you don't get automatic privilege. But so what? Look at all the benefits. What if those poor kids have a chance and they grow up to be really productive members of society? Then guess what happens when they don't live in chaos and they're not constantly struggling? There's not as much crime. Crime comes from poverty, not from marginalized people. The people coming up from Mexico and South and Central America are looking for work. They're not coming here because they want to hurt people. They're coming here because they want to survive. They're just people. And I hope those of you that are Christians and are voting for Trump realize he wants you to hate those people. He wants you to fear them and hate them. And that's why he keeps using the word invasion again and again and again and again. He's just trying to trick you into hating somebody. And that is not very Christian. When Jesus was cornered by the smart-ass Pharisees, and they were like, well, what's the number one rule? What's the above all else, what should people do? And he was like, that's not a hard question. He's good at debate, turns out, this Jesus guy. And I'm an atheist, but I still like his answer. You know what he said to him? He said, above all, be kind to your neighbors. Do unto others what you would have done to you. And they were like, oh, okay. I don't know if Jesus was a God. I don't know if God exists, at least not in the form that most Christians think it. I kind of think of God as nature. Quantum physics, perhaps. Maybe God is just all of us together in one single entity, like we're each a cell in a big organism. So it behooves us to treat other cells well. That's the microcellular theory of Christianity. Whatever the case, be good to your neighbors. Remember, there's no real invasion happening. Crime rates are at record lows, people. If you are a vulnerable person, if you have a mental illness, especially schizophrenia or any psychotic disorder, bipolar disorder can become psychotic, severe depression can become psychotic, schizoaffective disorder there can be psychosis there. Almost always seems like there is. If you are vulnerable to dangerous rhetoric, please get off of the internet or get off of social media altogether. You can still use the internet, of course. You might want to buy stuff or, look up directions and shit like that. Social media, though, is toxic. I say this as a psychologist with 30 years of experience. I wish I didn't have to talk to you on social media, but I do because this is how I can reach you. So please turn me off. Talk to people, read things, think for yourselves. I like to joke that when I start my cult, it's the only requirement, don't tell anybody this, but the only requirement to be in my cult is that you have to think for yourself. You can't think what I think unless you happen to agree with it. If you do, great. But think for yourselves, people. Read, talk to people you respect that you've lost touch with because of politics. Take a breath. The calmer you are, the more likely your frontal lobes will engage more fully. When you hear the word invasion, remember you're being tricked by your hind brain, by your old brain. Oh no, an invasion. I better prepare. I better fight. I'm scared. What are they going to do? Are they going to try to kill me? Are they going to try to rape me? Well, they're not going to do that. You're at no greater risk from an immigrant than you are a white person. That's just science, people. This is your Brother Seamus. Tune in. Tune in, turn on, and ramp up. Ramp up to the 2024 vote. First female president of the United States is about to happen. You heard it here first. There is almost no conceivable way to stop it from happening. And I want everybody to take a deep breath and be calm and say, look, the women of this country have spoken. It's time for us to listen. Let's do our best to keep our democracy together. If you have doubts about Mr. Trump, it's because your brain is telling you something important. Don't be afraid to listen to your brain, people. This has been another episode of the Brother Seamus Show.